Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Toastmasters and dear guests, good evening. I welcome you all for the 835th meeting of the Chennai Toastmasters Club. The mission of every Toastmaster Club is to provide positive and supportive learning experience. Thereby, members are empowered to improve their communication skills and leadership qualities, resulting in greater personality growth and self-confidence. Before moving into the meeting, I would like to brief certain rules to be followed throughout the meeting. Keep your mobile phone on silent mode. Do not talk about taboo topics such as politics, sex, and religion. Kindly sit on silent mode for a better meeting experience. Kindly be on mute until it's your turn to speak. Please unmute and talk when you're called upon. If you have any message to be conveyed, please use the chat box to communicate. With this, I would like to hand over the meeting to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Karthika. Toastmaster Karthika is the new Vice President, Public Relationship.
No, it's going to be me, Presiding Officer Lakshmi Narayan. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So Lakshmi, I hand over to the new President, Lakshmi Narayana.
Thank you.
Lakshmi Narayana works in IT industry and is the newly elected president. Toastmasters and guests, let us welcome our new president, Lakshmi Narayana.
Thank you, Sergeant Terms, Toastmaster Pallisamy. Can I say the new Sergeant Terms Pallisamy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for Pallisamy for taking up this role at the last minute, even when you're not feeling well. I really appreciate that. So, good evening, Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I just want to start with a story, a small story, which most of you would have heard it, but you can hear it from my version, actually. There was once an automobile mechanic who was in a public call office. He's called in a public phone. He was calling an employer in a small automobile company, and was asking if there is any auto mechanic job available. The employer said there is no vacancy right now. Sorry, we can't accommodate you. This guy again insisted that, please give me a mechanic job. I can do a better job than the current mechanic who was working in your company. The employer still said, "Oh, I'm happy with the employee. You don't worry about it. If there is any vacancy, I can call you again." But this guy still said, there should be something wrong with this current employee. He tell me that I will fix those issues. I will be a better employee for you. So for which the employer said, you need not worry. Whatever small issues I have, I can fix with him. He may not come on time, but he does his job perfectly. I'm really comfortable, happy with my current employee who's a mechanic. So you please find a job elsewhere. This guy kept the phone and he was happily going back. So the one guy was behind him was observing this, and he said, "You seem to be a very good mechanic. If you need a job, I can help you find a better job." And this guy replied, "You don't worry, I already have a job." "Then why are you looking for a job again?" He said, "The one whom I'm talking to is my employer, and the one he is referring to is the employee who is none other than by myself. I'm just trying to get a feedback from him about me before I go for an appraisal." So, ladies and gentlemen, there are many such situations, many opportunities to get a feedback about our performance and about our job. And similarly, Toastmasters is one platform where you can get a critical evaluation, a critical feedback about whatever you speak. So, with that note, I formally declare open this meeting, 835th meeting, 36th meeting today. So before I start the meeting, let me formally welcome our District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Aarti Mangalam Jayaraj. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you.
And we have heard on ma'am. and our division director, division C director, distinguished Toastmaster Dinesh Balaji. Welcome, sir. Thank you
so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for being even ahead of the meetings started, before the meeting started. And our area C1 director, our Toastmaster Abhilash. Welcome, Toastmaster Abhilash.
Thank you.
So now is the time to begin the meeting, and we have our Toastmaster of the day who has an excellent theme about sleep. Why? I don't know whether she's going to talk about importance of sleep or whether we should not sleep at all. We are so excited to see that. So we have our Toastmaster who's a chartered accountant by profession, and she is our current VP PR, who's behind all these posters we see currently. Let me welcome our Toastmaster Kartika as a Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Toastmaster Kartika.
Thank you for the warm introduction of Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to meeting number 835 of Chennai Toastmasters Club. Onto the topic, sleep is an essential function which allows our body and mind to recharge, leaving us refreshed, alert when we wake up. Sleep also helps the body remain healthy and starve out diseases. Without enough sleep, the brain cannot function properly. This can impair our ability to concentrate, think clearly, and process memories the next day. Adults need at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night every night. When we lose an hour of sleep, we see a 24% increase in heart attacks. Think about this for a moment. With just one less hour of sleep, heart attacks can increase significantly. How do you imagine that risk will multiply if you consistently get less than the required amount of sleep? The shorter you sleep, the shorter your life. Less sleep does not equal to more productivity. Sleep deprivation can have a very detrimental health impact and has been linked to chronic diseases such as diabetics, heart diseases, and even obesity. So before I make everyone somniferous, let me introduce you to the Toastmasters session. First, we have the prepared speech session, where the prepared speaker will deliver a speech for 5 to 7 minutes. The second session is the table topic session, where all of us can attempt on-the-spot topics. The third session is the educational session. This will allow you to gain invaluable theory needed to develop your public speaking, communication, and leadership skills. The final session is the evaluation session, where the speakers can expect to take away meaningful suggestions to improve their next speech. Before we move on to the prepared speeches, let me introduce you to our general evaluator. Our general evaluator for today is Toastmaster Sharad. Toastmaster Sharad dons multiple hats. He's a research scholar at IIT Madras in the Structural Engineering Division. He's a member of CTM since 2018 and is currently serving as VP membership. He's passionate about exercising, reading, and teaching. Over to you, Toastmaster Sharad. We can't hear you. You're not audible.
Now am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kritika. As GE, I'll be noting down the improvement points in the meeting. I won't be doing this alone. I will have 2 sets of team to perform the duty. Now it's time for me to introduce the first set of team. The first set of team is TAG team. T stands for timer, A stands for accounter, and G stands for grammarian. So let me introduce the timer of the day. Today, timer role is played by Toastmaster Ramani. I request Toastmaster Ramani to read out your project objectives.
Good evening to all. Today I am taking a timer because time is very important for all our activities. So time is most important. How we keep run the meeting in time. So I take the this timer activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramani. Next, I would like to call Toastmaster Ashwini to read out Accountant's report. Accountant's project update.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sharad, for the introduction. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role as an accountant today is to count the number of unnecessary sounds or the repetitive words that you may use when you're speaking. I will be observing and taking note of words such as you know, like, but, etc. These are the filler words that affect the effectiveness of the speech, and I will present my report when called upon by the General Evaluator. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sharad.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashwini. Next, I'd like to call our grammarian of today, Toastmaster Vignesh. Toastmaster Vignesh.
Good evening. Yeah, Toastmaster Sharad. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, my dear friends. Let me give me a second. I will share my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen. Sorry. Okay. So, as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to listen all your languages, and grammar is something that make your speech glamour. So I will note down the good usages as well as not so good usages. Also, it is my responsibility to introduce the word of the day today. So today word of the day is, do you able to see my screen?
Yes, Toastmaster.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So today word of the day is somniferous, which means sleep inducing or soporific. The etymology is, the origin of the word is comes from somnus, which is a sleep of God. So you can see in this picture, so the first person is the sleep of God in Roman, and the person next to him is a god of sleep, and the next one is the god of death. So his name is Mors and his name is Somnus. So these somniferous actually comes from the god of sleep in Latin or Roman. So we have some other root words with respect to that somnus. I will also share you. Insomnia, you might have insomnia. So insomnia means in is a negative form of negative form plus somnus. IA means some disease or pathological word. So that means inability to sleep. So it is a disease which causes unable to sleep. Hypersomnia. Hyper means excessive, and somnus, the word which we saw earlier. IA means that pathological word. Oh. Okay. So hypersomnia means excessive sleep, and somnilocist. So somnus plus this word already I introduced in one of the days. So it is loquacious means someone who talks more. So somnilocist is a habitual speaker, and hyposomnia means hypo means under. So someone who getting insufficient sleep is a hyposomnia. So somnus. So these are all the words related to the sleep. So the usage is, he listens somniferous melody songs and sleep in a while. And some people who have trouble snoozing take that are somniferous. The pills that are somniferous. So today word of the day is somniferous. Please use the word somniferous as much as possible. And I request others audience to encourage by applauding the speaker who used the word somniferous. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vignesh, for that extraordinary introduction of word of the day. And this is my first set of team. I will introduce my second set of team in the later part of the meeting. And I'm sure each of us will evaluate all the speakers with a genuine intention of improving yourself in all the aspects. So as of now, I am handing over the stage back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karthika. Over to you.
Thank you for taking us through your objectives, Toastmaster Sharad. Now it's time for us to move on to our prepared speech session. Our first speaker for today is Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana is serving as president of the club. She has also won third place in area C1 2-minute speech contest 2021. Before I call upon our speaker to the stage, may I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati, to read out the project objectives. Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Karthika. Today, our President, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, is taking his project under Level 5, Project 1, under Pathway Effective Coaching. This project is High Performance Leadership Project. This is the first speech. The title of the project is, this speech is Let Us Grow Together. The purpose of this project is for the member to apply his leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. The purpose of the first speech is for the member to introduce his plan and vision. The duration of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, let's grow together. Let's grow together, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The mission of every Toastmaster club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in such a way the members are empowered to improve their communication skills and leadership qualities, hence resulting in greater personality growth and self-confidence. You would have heard this mission statement from our Sergeant at Arms in all the meetings, where it says the members are empowered to improve their communication skills and leadership qualities. But what if a non-member wants to improve his public speaking skills? Maybe the one who doesn't want to attend each Toastmaster meeting, say a corporate wants their workforce to be a good communicator so that they can present effectively during meetings with the management or with the clients. To answer this, we have Speechcraft program. Today, I'm going to talk about one such Speechcraft program, which is ongoing now, and I'm going to tell you how I'm planning to lead the project, the Speechcraft program project. So before letting you know about my plan, I just want to, for the benefit of the user audience, I want to tell you what a Speechcraft is all about. Let me share a slide for you. So what is a Speechcraft? The Speechcraft is a condensed version of what Toastmasters experience in regularly scheduled club meetings. Actually, it allows experienced Toastmaster, the senior Toastmaster, to present the fundamentals of public speaking to a non-members and non-Toastmaster members. It can be offered as an integral part of a club meeting or as a seminar-style program presented outside the club, and it can be conducted in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or 8 week sessions. But here we are providing an 8 weeks program because today's employees need the essential communication skills to be a good communicator. And at the end of the program, it enables the participants, or I can say the employees, to present confidently to their management and clients. So what it covers, the Speechcraft program covers 5 core areas. Like the first one is going to be the icebreaker speech, where they know how to come and get rid of the fear and come and speak in front of the audience. The second one is to prepare and present, tells you how to organize your speech with the proper begin, body, and end. The third is to know your purpose. What is the general purpose? What is the specific purpose? And the fourth one is giving and receiving feedback through evaluation. And the last one is the body language and vocal variety. So this project covers all these things, but this particular Speechcraft program, what I'm referring to is about a company called CASAT. We got a call from from this company some long time back, and this company is located in Ikodutangal. They are into software of networking, networking software programming, and this particular team is into quality evaluations. And then this set of employees who are located both in Chennai and Bangalore, they have to frequently communicate with this with their counterparts in USA and UK. So the management wanted, the organization wanted to have a speech craft program for their employees so that they can improve their communication skills. So after some initial discussions with the management, then when we were about to start the program, I had to plan this project. I had to know how to plan and execute this project. To do so, I formed a guidance committee. The guidance committee for this particular speechcraft program is consisted of our very own DTM Venu Nelagandan, our Toastmaster Rekha, and our Toastmaster Sarath. We meet several times here. We had a mobile phone calls many times, and then we came out to the plan. This particular plan is about how we are going to conduct the speechcraft programs. So let me go with the purpose of this meeting. The purpose of this speechcraft program is to boost confidence and improve communication skills of all speechcrafters, whoever is participating. And then the key deliverables for it is each speechcrafter should have at least completed 3 prepared speeches. They can go up to maximum 5. They should complete at least 3 prepared speeches. And each speechcrafter should have taken up the key roles, like including the Toastmaster of the day, timer, accounter, grammarian, table topic master. And if they accomplish those 3, then they can complete the speechcraft programs. So when we come up with this speechcraft programs, when I know from an eagle view, I know what is the start and what is the end. But to understand the progress of this project, I should have a proper milestones to this project. So I came up with a few milestones. Like out of this is going to be an 8-week speechcraft program session. So we planned it such a way that the first week is as usual is going to be a demo meeting where we Toastmasters will conduct a demo meeting and the speechcrafters will observe the meeting, and from that they'll understand what it is. And then the third week we are going to have all the speechcrafters completing the first speech project icebreaker session, and we have an education session on 4th week and 6th week, and followed by 8th week everyone will complete the speech. By 9th week we will be members who have completed all these programs, and they can conduct their own meeting. Just we will be sitting beside and watching what they're going to do. So as like any other programs, any other project, this project also has a contingency plan. So we started this project, though I'm supposed to give this plan before start of the program, but it's already started. It's 3 weeks since we started the program, and we have for 5 speechcraft members, we have 1 coordinators, and fortunately we have additional mentors here. I just want to mention here our Toastmaster Nanda, Toastmaster Abhilash, apart from DTM Venu, myself, Rekha and Sarath. We have been doing a mentorship for all these people. We split accordingly to all this between the 17 members who are doing the programs. So the meeting started well, and when the meeting started, we did it hybrid meeting in their location. From the 2nd week, they had some reasons they couldn't continue because of infections. We wanted to do it online. That's our contingency plan. We were able to continue meeting. We never stopped the meeting for 3 weeks. So meeting goes on. So maybe once the meeting is completed, program is completed, I will give my 2nd speech about how this meeting has been successfully completed. With that note, I just want to make an appeal to all the Toastmaster members who are interested to come and help us in this speechcraft program. You can witness how these people are learning. By that, we both can learn each other, and let's grow together. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Next, we will move on to the 2nd speaker for today, Master Shrikant Krishnan. He's delivering his speech from Motivational Strategies, Project 1, Level 3. Toastmaster Shrikant is a common man who is in pursuit of God. And before I call upon our speaker to the stage, may I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Nanda, to read out his project objectives.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Shrikant Puttikrishnan is doing his level 3 collective speech from Motivational Strategies Path. The project is about to inspire the audience. The purpose of the project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. Over to you, Toastmasters Kritika.
Toastmaster Shrikant, Pathway to Intellect. Pathway to Intellect, Toastmaster Shrikant.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Your mind is something that which is always slipping into the past or the future. All the time, including my mind. It's not that my mind is superior, because I have been monitoring my mind for several years, and it keeps going to the future or thinking about the past. So what is this nature of the mind that we are talking about? See, all of us are having the same problem. Though we are sitting here listening to me, most of them are not able to have their mind concentrated on what I'm saying. It is either going into the past or going into the future. This is the nature of the mind. You who's sitting there is now listening to me for a few minutes and you're gone. And the other person who's listening to me for a few minutes and he's not more listening to me. So this keeps changing over and over again. And this is the reason that we are not able to concentrate and do things that we want to do. So the nature of every human mind is to either worry about the past or be anxious about the future. This is the nature of every human mind. And when this happens, we start losing our concentration. Now, let's keep this concentration apart and let's come to something else, which is even more important because of this habit forming experience or exercise that we are constantly doing. It is not your work that saps your energy. It is not your work that depletes your energy. It is not your work which makes you feel tired. It is your work which makes you tired is that your ability or your inability to think about the present moment, but always it is going into the past or the future. And this is the reason why you start losing your energy. Your work doesn't make you tired. Let me give you an example. You can never find a child who is feeling tired. You ask a child or you make a child sit on a chair. It is oozing with energy. It's always fidgety. And you try to keep the child quiet. You keep telling him, keep quiet, keep quiet. Shrikant is talking, keep quiet, keep quiet. But the child is so energetic and it is always there trying to bring out that energy. And the secret behind this energy is never a child is thinking or worrying about the past or anxious about the future. So it is that state of mind that we need to develop in order for us to develop our intellect. Let me share some more tips on how we go about doing this. So the first thing that you need to know is, it is not your body which controls your mind, because your body is gross. On top of that is your mind, and even more subtler than top of that is your intellect. It's your body, subtler than that is your mind, and even more subtler than that is your intellect. So it is this intellect which controls your mind, which in turn controls your body. So no amount of intelligence will help you in this world if you don't have an intellect. no amount of intelligence. In Boston, one of the Swamis from the ashram where I got my initiation, he was there. And one lady came up to him and said, "The Swami, my husband would like to meet you." Well, okay, ask him to come. And they came and they sat down and she introduced her husband to the Swami, and that gentleman who came there is among the top scientists in the US, among the top scientists. So both of them, the Swami and the scientist, they praised each other and they sat down. And the first word the lady told to the Swami is, "Swami, can you please put some sense into this man's head?" He was shocked when he heard that. A top scientist, you want me to put some sense into his head? And this scientist is nodding his head and saying, "My wife is right, my wife is right, my wife is right." What is the problem? And the lady goes on to say, "This person, my husband, is a chronic alcoholic. His liver is so damaged that the doctors have given up on him. And even more worse, at the drop of a hat, he loses his temper. And because of that, his blood pressure shoots up. And the third thing is, even if a crystal breaks in a house, he goes on talking about it for several weeks. We broke the crystal. Here we have a top scientist with so much of intelligence, but no intellect. See, what I'm trying to tell you is, you're trying to understand the difference between an intellect and an intelligence. Just because he is not having that intellect, it is his mind which is craving for that alcohol. It is his mind which is making him short-tempered. It is his mind which is making him regret for something that has happened in the past. So no amount of intelligence is of any use to you if you don't develop your intellect. So all that you need to do to develop an intellect is, you have to try and calm your mind and sit quietly in a room without anybody disturbing you, at least for 30 minutes, without any distraction. Unless you develop this ability to control your mind, which will be under the influence of your intellect, you can never be successful. Listen to me carefully. You either take it now, you miss it for the rest of your life. So that is the most important thing, that one facet you need in your life is to develop your intellect. If you're not able to do that, any amount of anything that you do is of no use. I've shared you the example of a child. That energy, see, all of you are sitting as if Buddha is in front of you. You know why? Because you all don't have energy. We feel tired. And you're not able to bring that state of mind where you have energy and concentration. As I told you, some are listening, some are not listening. That's why in Toastmasters we say eye contact is very important. When you make an eye contact, you have that person under your spell at least for the few seconds. Then you shift to the other man, the other person, and it goes on like that. So my dear friends, whatever is the stature is in your life, whatever is that you have accumulated, whatever you think you have achieved, will be of no use until you develop this intellect. So this is your pathway to intellect. Start by sitting quietly at least for 5 to 10 minutes. My mind previously, before I did this, was like a monkey jumping from branches. But now I have developed, or I am developing, an inner candle flame which never flickers though the worst goes before me. You can do it. Thank you very much. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for the wonderful speech, Toastmaster Shrikant. Now that I know the secret to your energy, and I'll try and develop my intellect. Requesting timer Toastmaster Remini to list the names of the qualified speakers for today. Toastmaster Remini,
Sorry, I can't hear.
can you list the qualified speakers for today?
Yeah. One second, I will. Good evening to everyone. Toastmaster Parani sir take a role as a SCIA call. Time.
Just the prepared speeches.
Ramani, just let's know whether both the speakers are qualified.
Sorry, sir, I'm not understand.
Katya, you can continue. We'll catch up with that.
Okay, I'll just continue. With that, we've come to the end of prepared speech session. Let me call upon quote master Toastmaster Rishi to give us the quote for today. Toastmaster Rishi.
You are on mute, Toastmaster Rishi.
Okay, sorry. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today's quote is a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. It goes like this: do one thing every day that scares you. In an evolutionary aspect, the purpose of fear was to promote survival. Fear might help you to recognize when you're about to do something dangerous. But you might find yourself fearful of things that aren't actually dangerous, like public speaking. Humans can learn new sources of fear and anxiety through a process called Pavlovian conditioning. The phenomenon where fear changes how we act. When there is no imminent threat, is a subject of research, subject of interest in research. We avoid situations that we fear. Avoidance prevents you from learning that the things you fear is not dangerous as you think. So face your fears every single time. You can gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. I repeat today's quote: do one thing every day that scares you. Thank you, and back to Toastmaster.
Thank you for the wonderful quote, Toastmaster Rishi. Now I request the idiom master to share the idiom for the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karthika. Bob was as sick as a dog, but after having fully recovered from his illness, Bob had a new lease on life. He took up work again, but his boss was pain in the neck. After work, Bob used to go for a walk, which did him a world of good. Just like that, he could recharge his batteries. After the walk, he felt refreshed as a daisy. After getting home from his walk, Bob had dinner. He used to eat fast food for dinner, but he kicked that habit and preferred to fix something himself. He knew you are what you eat. Today, idioms: sick as a dog, new lease on life, pain in the neck, recharge his batteries, fresh as a daisy, kicked the habit. I repeat, today idiom of the day was sick as a dog, new lease on life, pain in the neck, recharge his batteries, fresh as a daisy, kicked the habit. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karthika.
Thank you for the idiom, Toastmaster Naveen. Before we move on to our next session, I'd like to inform you that contrary to what some people believe, there is really no way to catch up on lost sleep. Science says that habitual late nights and skimping on sleep catch up with you, and you have to, there's no way you can make up for it. So you have to try and maintain a regular sleep schedule as much as possible. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet to best support quality sleep. Nap if you must during the day, but limit yourself to not more than 1 to 2 hours of sleep to avoid disrupting your schedule. With this, our next session is the educational session. The session is being handled by DTM Aarti Mangalam Jairaj. DTM Aarti has been a Toastmaster since October 2016. Starting off as Vice President Education, she has served as Assistant Area Director, TLI Co-Chair, Area Director, Division Director of Division F, Program Quality Director of District 120, and is currently District Director. She has also been a district contestant in table topics and division contestant in ISC and evaluation contest, a leadership trainer, a linguist, and a psychometric assessor. A coach and mentor, Aarti has 19 years of experience in learning and development space, a triple postgraduate holder in mass communication, journalism, and linguistic and psychology. She is currently pursuing her PhD. She also has a diploma in criminology. With a wide range of interests, she pursues education based on her passion. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Aarti.
Thank you so much, Karapika. While you were introducing me, I realized it's high time I stopped giving sessions because I'm hearing myself over and over again. And people like Abhilash and Dinesh by now would know my spiel. But it's always a pleasure to be a part of CTM. Thank you so much for having me here. When Naveen pinged and said, we want you to do a session on goal setting. Am I clearly audible? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. So when Naveen said, we want you to do a session on goal setting, I said, yeah, sure. Because goal setting is a part and parcel of every trainer's kitty. And I said, that's going to be easy. But a few days before the session, he saw a poster where all of us, the district leaders had geared up and we wanted to say that we are ready for the challenge. And he said, let me have the title itself as geared up. Why don't you talk about how do we gear ourselves up for the upcoming year? And in a way that actually helped me envisage what the session would be all about, because that was a clear indication of what needs to be communicated. But before I get into the actual session, let me ask a few questions, and probably from there we'll take it forward. How many of you know that many languages, grammar has like a feminine and masculine part to it? We don't have feminine and masculine in English or in Tamil, but in languages like Hindi, Spanish, German, most objects are considered either feminine or masculine. For example, the bridge, right? In German is feminine and in Spanish it is masculine. So if you ask someone to go ahead and describe a bridge, and if the person is a German, we'll talk about how beautiful the bridge is or how elegant the bridge is, or we'll talk more in terms of the length and breadth, the height. Whereas if you talk to someone in Spanish and ask them to describe the same bridge, they'll talk about how strong or how sturdy the bridge is. So somewhere your mind gets conditioned to a particular way of thinking. Now, assume a scenario where, let's say, you have one of your own team members going to go on stage and give a speech. Okay, what we do in Toastmasters, let's say they are participating in a contest for the very first time. Think of the times before you became a Toastmaster and you wanted to encourage this person to be on stage, to go ahead and give that speech. What would you tell to motivate that person? I'll just unmute and answer. This is pre-Toastmasters time. Your friend wants to go on stage. Of course, there are butterflies in the stomach. What would you do to encourage that person?
Don't worry about the audience.
Don't worry about the audience. Fantastic. What else?
I would share how I overcome it when I was in a similar situation. Probably that could motivate them.
Okay, so you'd probably, when if you have the time, you would go ahead and talk about what you did to overcome a similar situation. Thank you, Sindhu. What else?
If I can speak, you can also speak.
If I can speak, you can also speak. Okay. Anything else?
The people who are listening are not any better than you. So probably you are more courageous.
Wonderful. The people who are listening are not any better than you. You're more courageous. Okay.
Enjoy the moment, have fun. So don't worry about what is going to happen next.
Nanda, you would have said this before Toastmasters time?
Yeah, probably yes.
Okay, fantastic. You're some of the, the small, unique set of people who can think well. Great. Thank you, Nanda. And if we actually try to recollect those scenarios, probably we ended up giving statements like, don't be nervous, don't get scared of the audience, don't forget these important points, don't forget that you have to pause in these areas. We would coach them with all these sentences. Usually all the do nots is what we would talk about. Now, this is where your brain is funny and it is tricky. Now, the brain is like you have a conscious brain and you have a subconscious brain. Now, your conscious brain takes all the decisions. Your subconscious brain executes them. And most of the times, your subconscious brain is what helps you run. The autopilot mode that we normally talk about is your subconscious brain in action. So when I'm telling you, do not be afraid, your conscious brain understands what needs to be done. But your subconscious brain cannot understand these negative words like do not, not. So what happens? The sentence, do not be afraid, not gets removed for the subconscious. And the message that goes to the subconscious is do be afraid. How many times have we told ourselves, tomorrow morning, I should not forget this file when I go to office, or I should not forget this homework when I go to college. And that's exactly what we'll forget. If you've not done the action of taking the file and putting it in your bag, which is a positive action, but you only keep telling yourself, I should not forget, I should not forget. That is exactly what we'll forget because our subconscious is acting on that particular command without the not. Now, where am I going with all this? I spoke about German and bridge and then talking about conscious and subconscious. In the absence of a set goal, your predominant thought becomes the goal that the subconscious mind is going to work on. And as human beings, our biological evolution has always been one of fear. We've always protected ourselves from the environment because there was some kind of fear factor. Fear is good. I think, I'm not sure whether it was your quote master or idiom master who spoke about it. Fear is good because that helps you plan and protect yourself. And that's how we have evolved. So in the absence of a positive thought, your strongest fear becomes your predominant thought and your subconscious starts working on that. And that is where setting a goal is of extreme importance. How many of you set goals every year? Probably, the last week of December, you go buy a new diary and, you write a goal. And how many of us set a goal in that particular year? Okay, I see Abhilash raising half his hands. I'm still trying to figure out what it means. Okay, Naveen. Maybe some of us don't want to openly tell that I set my goals because we probably do not follow it through.
That was the half-hand hesitation.
I understood, Abhilash. Okay. In comparison to not setting goals, I'm still happy if you set a goal that you're not pursuing. Why? At least you have trained your mind to start thinking about what you want to achieve. And your mind is always about, this is how I want my life to be, or this is how I want my year to be. Now, similarly, now just think about when you join Toastmasters. I'm going to just pick up some names. Anirudh, why did you join Toastmasters?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Well, like I wanted to join Toastmasters. One, just like kind of relaxing thing for me. I could socialize more.
Wonderful.
And another thing was like to improve my public speaking and like hone my more speaking skills in a bigger stage. That is why I joined Toastmasters.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Anirudh. I don't know. I'm lucky to have picked the right person, because one answer I get many a times is, this is a forum where I can relax. This is a forum where I can be myself. For me, this is a break from my usual self. But what happens after you join Toastmasters? You get so excited. You get so caught up in all the action that's happening that you want to be everywhere. 6 months or maximum 1 year down the lane, you are burnt out so much. You do not want to continue with Toastmasters itself. You don't think about taking a break and coming back. So being very clear about your goal will also help you prepare for what is coming in the next following year or so. And when you talk about goal setting, you cannot set goals only for one portion of our lives. We set goals either for our career or for our education, but there are other aspects of our life. And we only choose some at some point of time. We either choose family for this particular year, or we choose career for the next 4 to 5 years. The problem or the advantage with career goals is your company sets your goal. And we think that is our goal. And that is why we also feel frustrated after a couple of years of working, because we want to do something else. Instead, we are working for a goal set by someone else. There is no mapping between what you want and the goal or the KRA set by the organization. And that's where you feel demotivated, you're frustrated, and you're thinking about changing organizations or changing your entire line itself, which is perfectly fine. However, many a times we do it out of frustration, not because we know exactly what we want. Similarly, in Toastmasters, I am talking about, most of the XCOM leaders, the end of 6 months, I always say, if you don't feel like giving up in the middle of your term, you've not been challenged enough. But at the end of the term, when you finish, you should look back and say, hey, wow, that was a good experience. I learned from it. But at the end of the term, if you feel burnt out, then there is something absolutely wrong, and you've not learned from the goal or from the experience that you have set for yourself. So at the beginning of any journey, be it Toastmasters or let's say you've taken up a new course, be very clear about why you want to do that particular activity. Why do you want to become a president? Why do you want to become a division director? Why do you want to become a sergeant at arms? And once you have a clear reason as to why I want to take up that role, go ahead and plan in terms of how much would you have to devote to do that role very well. I always say yes to anything that comes your way, because those are opportunities, but that's only at the beginning. The first 3 months of Toastmastering, I think I went ahead and said yes to everything that came my way, because I was still trying to explore and understand what this fraternity was all about. But after I would not say 3 months, maybe after 7, 8 months, right? The first contest season got over. I joined in October, and that following May, I understood what Toastmasters was all about, and I also clearly knew what I wanted from this fraternity and how what I wanted, or the reason I joined Toastmasters, mapped with my goals in mind. But let me also tell you, leadership was not in my cards at that point of time. I'm shameless, and I'll shamelessly tell you, because that is what will propel me to achieve it. I wanted to be the world champion of public speaking. I know many people would laugh because that's such a lofty dream, but that was my dream. It is still my dream, and I will pursue. And I had it very clear in my mind where I said, only after I become the world champion of public speaking will I jump into leadership. But life throws its own googlies, right? I had already completed my ACG. I had completed my ALB. All I needed was that area director credit to complete my DTM journey. And my mentor said, why are you missing that? Because you'll not be able to do it later on. So go ahead and take up area directorship. But I was quite confused, when I said, if I start my leadership journey, I would love to try till I become the district director and then stop, which meant 4 years of giving up on contesting. There I had to take a choice. I had to take a stand on what I wanted. Again, that is where my mentor helped. Right now, I have a daughter who's like 6 years old. So at that time she was 2. And my mentor said, don't you think the next few years, your daughter will not need too much of your attention? In terms of having to sit and coach her, be there with her for studies and all that, you don't need right now. So this is the best time to complete your leadership journey. And that's where I changed my mind. I said, I'll go in the leadership track, and then I could always come back to contesting. So goal is not something that is etched in stone. It is dynamic. I was very clear on what my goal was. And both these, leadership and communication, were contesting, were areas that I wanted to work. But I had to change it to accommodate my current scenario. You cannot say, oh, this is my goal, I will go ahead and keep doing it at any cost. As I said, goals is not just one part of your life. You have to have goals in each and every part. And all these goals should sync together. If you decide to sacrifice one area, you need to be very clear about it and talk to the people concerned. If you're not clear on what area you're going to sacrifice on, then there is going to be disharmony. And at some point of time, you will want to give up your goals. So very important about goals. Yes, please have goals that map what you want to achieve in life. Even if your mentor says, and this will always happen with ExCom officers, they will come and say, oh, you know what, you have to contest this year. But for you, this year, contesting is the last thing you want to think about because there is some other priority. Don't give in to that pressure. That need not be your goal. Your goal has to be in sync. One thing I always feel that somewhere as Toastmasters, we've all forgotten. Toastmasters has become such an integral part of life. It's become life itself. The idea about Toastmasters is to learn from here and implement it in your personal life as well as career. Toastmaster by itself is an enabling body, right? So make sure your Toastmaster goals are in sync with what you want to achieve in your professional front and are in harmony with your personal life also. Do not disconnect them, because once you disconnect them, this will become a very short-lived dream. I know of members who've been extremely active for the first 6 months or 1 year or maybe even 1.5 years, and now they are no more members. But people who pace themselves out, who say, I'm going to take a 1 month break from Toastmasters because I have some other priority, and then I will come back, actually have been in the fraternity for a very long time. So make sure your goals are in sync with the other goals, that you have in life. Let not Toastmasters be the ultimate goal itself, number one. Number two, we all adapted to the online mode in style. When we had a situation where we were not able to conduct in-person meetings, we immediately switched on. We were one of the, I would say, few organizations which were able to seamlessly make the change. But today we are moving back to in-person meetings, and in-person meetings is becoming so difficult. When we talk about, oh, why is it there is no energy in club? Why is the membership low? Everyone says, oh, we want in-person meetings. We don't like online meetings. But the minute you go and have an in-person meeting announced, people don't turn up. And that is the irony. Which means for whatever reasons, you as an individual, I'm not even talking about members, I as an individual, and Nina ma'am can probably corroborate on this. Yesterday, there was a meeting. It was a hybrid meeting. I will tell you, it was so tempting to call the person and say, you know what, let me join online. I had to travel about 45 kilometers to reach the venue. It was so tempting. Now, what I did, rather than calling the person and telling this, I called the person and said, okay, how many people are turning up? How many will join online? How many will join in person? You know, and when the person said there are going to be about 40 people, of that 40, 20 are new members, and these 40 are going to be in person. And these are the people, it motivated me to be there in person. Similarly, all of us have challenge. One big challenge, all dresses do not fit. We loved in Toastmasters to deck up and come to our meetings. Today, most of our dresses don't fit. Even that can become a deterrent. So be prepared. Know what are the things that would stop you from doing something that you love. And that's absolutely fine. I find myself more productive working from home than when I was in office. My entire term as a PQD, I was able to beautifully balance work as well as Toastmasters was because of work from home. But there are many benefits of in-person meetings also. So you will have to understand your pitfalls, what demotivates you or what stops you, and plan for it accordingly. If you're not able to do that, then though you have your goals in mind, though you have your dreams in mind, you will not be able to attain them. So that is important. That planning or getting geared up for the challenges is extremely important. And finally, I want to share, probably people will be surprised why I'm sharing it. As I said, when you're setting goals, Toastmasters will not be the most important priority in your life. You'll probably have other priorities of work and family. And while many people say family comes first and then work, I think it all depends on which situation of life you're in. For some of us, work will be priority and second will be family if we are trying to develop our career. So first set these goals and then your health, then could be your friends, and then could be your Toastmasters. Now, this hierarchy of goals can change depending on what you have planned for the year. But Toastmasters will never be our first or second priority. That will always go to your career and family, and your Toastmasters goal should work its way into these two goals. So this is what I wanted to personally share about being geared up for the upcoming year. I had promised that I would take question and answers. I think we have another 6 minutes for Q&A. Any questions under the sun, I'm game. Please feel free to unmute and just ask away. The first question syndrome, right? One person asks and then there'll be a pouring of questions that come my way.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you find a difference between Toastmasters who recently joined and, as somebody said at the award ceremony, pandemic babies? So Toastmasters who are pandemic babies and Toastmasters who are old dinosaurs like me, do you find any difference in the commitment level? Yeah.
Commitment level, I would not say so. I think the only difference or challenge is the pandemic babies have not seen what Toastmasters is all about. If people had realized the last 2 years in your OTP training, we introduced a section called what Toastmasters is all about, how area rolls into a division, district, and region, because even that information they did not know. They were caught up into that, my club, I come, I deliver my speech, I get feedback, and I go. But whereas people who were pre-pandemic Toastmasters, we knew what life was outside our club and how much of learning we had from Toastmaster clubs outside. And I think that is what helped shape us. Right? Your club is essential, that is your base. But only when you go out of that comfort zone and start interacting did you get the maximum benefit out of Toastmasters. And that, I think, the last 2 years, whoever has joined, especially the online clubs, like at least in these clubs like CTM, you have 50% of people who have seen what it is outside. Right? But clubs which have chartered online, they have absolutely no clue. And they've gotten a little comfortable in that shell. We are finding it difficult to pull them out right now. And that's a huge challenge which the district is also facing and we are gearing up for that. But pandemic babies, if you do not step outside your club, your comfort zone, you are missing a lot. And I keep telling again and again, the $45 that you pay to TMI is not just for your club. There are so many things that you're missing, and you pay that money for all those aspects, like a division contest, a district contest, all this that $45 encompasses. So make sure you get maximum benefit for the buck that you're paying. I hope I answered your question, ma'am.
It's fine for me. Would some of the pandemic babies like to take up that? Those who joined later, would you like to answer that? What do you feel, especially now that some of you have experienced hybrid clubs?
Sure.
So hybrid meetings, some of you are organizing hybrid meetings. And I think it's hats off to all the techies in every club who are able to organize hybrid meetings. Kudos to you, but how do you find the experience? Can you tell us?
Maybe if I may go.
Yes, Sindhu.
Yeah, I have seen both, honestly. Like, this is my season 2 in Toastmasters, I must say. So I was a Toastmaster when this CCCL and so on were prevailing, and it's almost 4 years, and I took a break, and now I started my season 2 starting this month. I have seen, at least I personally have seen a wide, I mean, it's a huge difference, I must say. We used to be so very committed when we were meeting together, so much of collaboration, so much of understanding. So if any last minute role crunches are there, just handful people, and we, means there was so much of volunteering, so much people used to volunteer, and people used to kind of support each other. And I think that communication, that support, and that understanding is missing with the people, at least who are online onboarded people. So I don't know, my comeback was literally, it's big for me to take it, because after 4 years of break, I just joined the club, and all of a sudden, just in a week's time, I became the president of the club. And I have no clue on what is this pathways, how are this, what is the dynamics of this, and how are people turning up. And to be honest, in the very first meet, I personally took 2 roles, dual role. So I was wondering, do I really know what this role is? I was starting to recollect as the meeting was progressing. But there were other people who just said, like, I have another meeting, as Aarti was saying, like the Toastmasters, at least I see there are many people, at least on board pandemic babies, see Toastmasters as a last priority, nowhere in the middle. But we, being part of Toastmasters, we understand what is the importance. We understand what Toastmasters gave back to us. And these days, even when we request or insist or guide people to go speak to your mentor, get your speech reviewed, they just come and just speak. Means the sole purpose of Toastmasters is not being understood. So I'm kind of really struggling. How could we? Means I started so many things in last two meets, but Nina, ma'am, I really need to say there is a huge difference. No comparison, honestly. That's how I take this. There is no comparison.
So let me share something over here. We had the awards night, okay, and it was funny. As a trainer, I always had a problem. I would forget people's names. You know, so I would meet this person like, hey, do you remember me? And they'd be like, yeah, but I can't recollect the name. And that's the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you as a trainer. But in the awards night, I knew the names of all the 450 people who had registered, but I did not know more than 100 people by face. It had reversed because we've interacted with people, we know people, but we were not able to go ahead and talk to them because we did not see them. But the minute we were there, whether you knew them or not, you should have seen that energy. People who are present will talk about it. The energy was so high. It is not as bleak as we feel right now. See, if you've been only in an online meeting, you find, especially you are comparing pre-COVID and current, right? But even now, The travel from your home to the venue is the difficulty. But the minute you reach there, it just changes automatically. And all the newcomers who came there were like, wow, is this what we were missing? We will start participating more. It is that first step where you come to that physical meeting, which is the problem. But once you come, I'm telling you, the fraternity will take care of itself. And we had great difficulty in moving into an online mode because we had no precedence. I did not know how Zoom will work. How many of us even knew that there was something called Zoom till pandemic hit us, right? But we all learned it in the matter of a couple of weeks and we mastered it in a couple of months. But when you're talking about in-person meetings, all of us have references. You might not have been to an in-person Toastmasters meeting, but you have been to an in-person meeting, which means we know what to expect. So the transition will happen. But as I said, we need, as an individual, I need to know what stops me from going or what stops me from participating and be mentally prepared. And the ExCom will have to play a greater role to motivate these people to come to in-person meetings. Okay, so it's not as bleak as it sounds. We are having starting trouble, but as I said, once we start, it just will flow and things will be much better. Yes, the timer has shown us the yellow card, so maybe another 1 or 2 questions.
One question, since you mentioned, oh, sorry, go ahead, Prabhakar.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening,
I am into the Toastmaster almost past 1 year.
Okay.
So I am in a corporate club. I could see a lot of changes and I have learned a lot of things. But one thing I want to learn from you that in my club, almost I have seen almost 20 set of team members was there with me. Now everybody left because they are due to the career changes. Now I am with a new set of team members. So handling the team and conducting the meeting, I'm feeling little difficult.
Okay.
How to make it with enthusiastically every week. I need to conduct a meeting with a new set of team members. Could you please guide me?
Sure, Prabhakar. I think you should start looking at this as chartering of a new club. Go back to your area director, request that you would like to have a club mentor. This person will not get a credit, but the beauty of Toastmasters is people don't do it just for the credit. So the minute you say, I need a club mentor to help me course through this difficulty that I'm facing, talk to your area director, and through them, it will come to the division director and they'll be able to find a person who can support you in this journey. And with their help, as I said, don't look at it as, I'm not sure which club you're from, sorry about that. But let's say your club has been in existence for 4 years. Forget those 4 years. Think about it. You're starting fresh. And if it's a new club that you're chartering, how would you go about conducting meetings? Take the support of the fraternity around you. Today, we have about 29 people in this call. These 29 people themselves will become the support that you would require. So you can reach out to people and say, hey, you know what, I'm planning to have a session. I need to do something different in terms of table topics. I have a person who's a table topics master. Can you groom that person to deliver that role? You could start looking at people to groom. The challenge we are facing today in Toastmasters is when we talk about mentors, we only look at either communication mentors or we look at mentors for leadership. But even for each and every role that you perform, you could go back to your mentor and say, I am performing this role. What do I do? How do I do it? That kind of conversation is important. So go back to your area director, request them for support for a mentor for your club, and also reach out the mentor pool committee and have mentors assigned for your members. The minute you have individual mentors assigned for members, the members will feel comfortable, and maybe a month or 2, they would start running the entire show and you will find them highly motivated by themselves.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prabhakar. And anything more, you could always reach out to me. I will see what best I can do to support you.
Sure.
I think Abhilash had a question. Thank you, Abhilash. And we'll wrap up with this question for want of time.
Since you mentioned this burnout factor, how do we make sure we don't get too caught up. How do we balance? That was one thing I wanted to ask.
Okay. As I said, you need to have goals in all areas of your life. The minute you feel you're compromising your goal in one area and you're putting all your energy in another area, try and understand why you're doing it. See, very simple example. Probably during the contest season, I would put a pause to certain other aspects, because at that time I would like to go ahead and practice my script and be prepared for the contest. But if I'm putting a pause to every other interaction, let's say I'm ignoring my family, my friends, and on weekends, like people do club hopping. When I say club hopping, I'm talking about the pub hopping. That was an in thing some time back, right? Today, I'm hearing the term club hopping in Toastmasters. I'm like, for what joy? I'm here for 5 minutes and then I jump to another club. Everywhere I'm there for 15, 20 minutes. What am I learning? Basic, do not miss your club meeting. If you're really keen and you have a particular reason, outside of your club, attend 1 or 2 meetings in a month. That's where I say don't overdo it. That too, why do you want to attend a meeting outside of your club? That clarity must be there. Don't just attend because people are inviting you. If they want you to take up a particular role, understand why you want to be there. So when you're planning, be very clear on why you're doing certain things. Learn to say no. If what is being requested is not in sync with what you want, feel free to say no. And very importantly, please go back to your mentors and check, are you in the right track? Your mentor will tell you, Aarti, you want to be into leadership. Why are you wasting your time and doing XYZ? If this is your goal, why are you doing it? You need a mentor who could, just slightly nudge you, or at times give you a rap on your head and say, go do this. My mentees, let me talk about my mentees, okay? Especially in leadership, I get furious with them. And, they'll probably give you they'll agree that I am telling the truth. I get furious when they don't delegate. They overdo it. They do it all by themselves. You can never do it. As a leader, you need to learn to delegate, right? So you need a mentor who will also tell you what you're doing wrong. So number one, be very sure that everything you're doing is in sync with a goal. If you're doing it for the fun of doing it, if you're doing it because you want to take a break and enjoy, tell that. Because the minute I say, oh, today I want to go and have fun with my, club members, that's perfectly fine. But, do it because you know why you want to do it. Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. Don't say yes to everything. The minute you stop these two things, you will not feel burnt out. And at any point of time, you're feeling overwhelmed, take a break, take a pause. After you take a break and take a pause, if you miss it and you want to come back, then yes, this is meant for you. Toastmasters need not captivate everyone. There are some people who will say, okay, this is not my cup of tea and move on. That's perfectly fine. So realize that when you need a break, take a break, because only that will ensure you come back, right? I hope I answered your question, Abhilash. Anything more this year as area director, we'll take it offline. With that, I know I've run a little overtime. Thank you so much for all your patience in listening to me. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for an amazing informative session, DTM Aarti ma'am. Our next session is the table topic session. The session is being handled by Toastmaster Abhilash. Toastmaster Abhilash is a chartered accountant by profession. He's been part of Toastmasters for 2 years now, serving as VP membership, education, and as a president. He's currently serving as the area director. His hobbies includes playing badminton and chess. Over to you, Toastmaster Abhilash.
Thank you so much. Very warm good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm probably in one role that I enjoy because I don't come to the meeting with a little apprehension. So it is time for the most exciting session of the day, the table topic session. To give you all a briefing, in the table topic session, each of you will be invited to speak impromptu, to speak on the spot for a time of 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, the timer will be displaying you the green card. At 1 minute and a half, the timer will display the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, the red card shall be displayed. All right, let us now dive right into the table topic session. All right, let me call on Toastmaster Anirudh first.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anirudh. So we have all heard of these bedtime stories, right?
Yes.
So can you relate one very favorable or one experience which you remember with regard to these bedtime stories?
Yes, okay. Like let me tell you, from a very young age, I was very much addicted to this concept of bedtime stories. Until when I was 6 or 7, I couldn't go to sleep unless someone used to tell me a story and make me go to bed. It could be either my mother or my grandmother or my aunt or someone. And so, like, this was very much relatable to me on very long time. That time when my mother put me to bed, I kind of liked this story very much, and I kept asking her to keep telling on more stories and more stories. That one day she obliged a bit, and then I ended up going to sleep very late to my time. The next day to school, I woke up very late. I almost was about to miss my bus. So the last minute, I had to get ready very late, and like my father had to drop me in school that day, and I really missed my bus. So that was one really nice bedtime story incident that I could relate a lot. Yes, sir.
That's nice. That's nice. Thank you, Anirudh, for sharing your experience. All right. The next thing, I'm going to go a little impromptu. All right. So we have a couple of DTMs with us. So DTM Dinesh and DTM Neena ma'am. So let us have something of a face-off. All right. So what we are going to do is I'm going to give you 2 words. All right. So both of you are going to share with us what you feel that particular word means. Okay. So let's have DTM Dinesh up first. DTM Dinesh, it's going to be related to sleep. So that is one clue I'm going to give you in the beginning. So the word that I have for you is parasomnia.
Usually, when we start speaking, we don't want people to sleep off, right? You just made sure that there is no room for the division director to make any funny thoughts here. Probably parasomnia. I knew that when Abhilash was there for table topics master, I'm going to be stumped. So I will remain that way to avoid any further damage. Probably maybe I should doze off for a while, come back with a fresh rejuvenated mind to try to decode what Abhilash was talking about.
All right. So one thing, parasomnia, right? So I'm going to give it to you. Had you dozed off and still come here, shaken your hands and talked, that is exactly parasomnia. Basically doing unnatural moments while you're sleeping. That's what parasomnia refers to. Okay, Neena ma'am. Dysomnia.
Never heard of it. I haven't the faintest clue what it is. I know it is something to do with insomnia, parasomnia, one of these things.
You can tell us whatever you feel. It not me the correct thing. Whatever you comes to your mind.
Not even, I know that there are people who sleepwalk, there are people who sleep talk, and I know that I'm one of those who can sleep whenever and wherever I have the chance. So I'm a great sleep addict, whatever that is called. I don't know if that word is over there. So I think Vignesh gave some very erudite words, somniferous. So I have still to check what that is and what it is. But I know I'm very unlikely to use it except in my sleep. So let's see what happens next time we have a wonderful word like that. Back to you, Abhilash.
Thank you, ma'am. So dysomnia, let me tell you, it is basically the feeling of, our alarm clock ringing and we telling 1 more minute, finding it hard to get out of.
I'm definitely one of those.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Next up, so can we have Toastmaster Prabhakaran?
Yeah.
Yes. So Toastmaster Prabhakaran, one topic that I wanted to definitely give today was this one, very simple one actually, but it got me something of very curious. So tell us about one special person whom you have met in your dreams.
A special person who met during my dreams. Okay. He was when I was in 5th standard. I got my class teacher who taught me how to write my name. He is the first person I got in my dream. I could able to continuously remember whenever I write my name, because I was writing my name in English little, the pronunciation will not come correctly. Like everybody used to write, the Prabhakaran used to write the H. So I used to write without H. So maybe that may be one of the reasons still I could able to remember as my teacher. But still, if it is in Tamil, the Prabhakaran, whatever he is written, that is the right one. So thanks for asking this question.
That was a very nice explanation. Thank you, Toastmaster Prabhakaran. Next up, can we have Toastmaster Renuka?
Yeah, I'm here, Toastmaster Abhilash.
Yes, Toastmaster Renuka. A very simple quote. You can tell me whether you believe it or not. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Do you think it still holds good?
Yeah, very pleasant evening to all the Toastmasters and the guests. Yeah, I'm happy to have this topic because I believe in it. I always trust and I always insist to my students as well, my children at home. Early to bed and early to rise. Being an early bird is very comfortable, very healthy to lead the life. Early morning, I wish to go for a walk in early morning. It gives a pleasant breeze and it would be more comfortable. I feel very healthy and I get a pleasant sensation, so mind will become very fresh. So I enjoy this situation and I also trust in the quote that you have given. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhilash. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Renuka. Next up, can we have distinguished Toastmaster Artima?
Yes, Abhilash.
But so going from your educational session, we have all heard of this one very inspirational quote, right? Never give up on your dreams. So just one small twist there. Don't give up on your dreams. The best way to do that is to always keep sleeping.
See, I think there are two types of dreams, like what Abdul Kalam said, one that does not allow you to sleep and one that you get while you sleep. Now, what is the end goal of all human life? Happiness. While you run after a goal, you attain happiness. I mean, you attain the goal, you are happy. But in some cases, we don't. We all talk about how we have to learn from our failures, but it is a painful process. However, the dreams that I get in my sleep always make me happy. You asked this question about who was that one peculiar or unique person you dreamt about. Where else than in my wildest dreams would I be sitting and having coffee with probably Sean Connery, right? I know I sound a little old when I said Sean Connery. Probably you know the James Bonds, Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig right now. But still, I'm a fan of Sean Connery. I can sit and have coffee with him. Will it give me happiness? Absolutely, yes. That little amount of happiness, that success that you get when someone wakes you up and you say 5 more minutes and they give you that 5 more minutes. I think that's the best way to start a day. You started it on a successful note. And I probably wanted to be a district director. I could have done that in my dreams. And there I would be one of the most successful district directors. The learnings that I get from there, I can implement it in real life. So most of the dreams that happen while I'm sleeping are in sync with my heart's deepest desire. And the best way for those desires to come true is to continue sleeping and get that experience and live that experience. So yes, never give up on my dreams. And to do that, I would love to continue sleeping. Back to you, Abhilash.
Thank you so much, Aarti ma'am. Next up, can we have Toastmasters Sindhu?
Yes, Abhilash.
So Toastmasters Sindhu, so since you spoke about pre-COVID, post-COVID, work from home, offline and all those things. So very simple and easy topic again. So afternoon naps, how have they changed during pre-COVID and post-COVID times?
I need to speak towards, means I don't speak towards this because I'm not a great sleeper. I was actually envying Neena ma'am when she was saying she's a good sleeper because I seldom sleep. It's like even if somebody is speaking in the very next house, I can hear those sounds. So I kind of a very, very sound sensitive person. So naps is something like I could dream. I could dream like I really wish to sleep forever. Like when I heard this topic of Aarti ma'am's, like I was literally feeling, why not me sleep forever and keep dreaming? Because for me, sleep itself is a dream. The deep sleep itself is a dream. I kind of keep kicking my husband, my son, because when my husband snores and when my son kicks me in the sleep, kind of, it's typically not for me there. So naps, I didn't change anything, at least in that point of naps. Not before COVID, not after COVID. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sindhu. We have time for one last topic, so let us see. So we have guest Rufus with us. Rufus, are you available to take a topic?
I can try. This is my first meeting.
No problem. Thank you, Rufus. So Rufus, so have you ever been to a sleepover?
Sleepover? Sorry, I didn't get the meaning of it.
Sorry?
I couldn't relate the meaning of it. Sleepover? Like, I don't know the meaning of it.
Going over and sleeping at a friend's place as a group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've done it many times. Like, I used to tell my parents that I'm going to study with my friend, and then go there, and I do sleep there, and then come back the next day without not even opening a book. Right? I've done it many times. So,
tell us one particular experience you share with us all.
Yeah, that's like when I was in my 12th standard, I used to go to my friend William, and like we used to chat and discuss about all other things except studying. And then I come back the next day to my home. I tell my parents that I studied so many lessons that day. So I can think of that at this moment. Thank you, sir.
That's nice. Thank you, guest Rufus. And with this, we come to the end of the table topic session. We'll have the list of qualified speakers read out later on. So now back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for taking us through your table topic session, Toastmaster Abhilash. Coming back to the theme of sleep, indoor lighting and electronic devices that emit light like computers, smartphones, TVs, they're all relatively new under this, human experience. So for the vast majority of time in history, humans were not exposed to all these amenities. Historically, humans got up when the sun rose and went to bed when the sun set. Now we live largely indoors and are exposed to many sources of artificial light that interfere with our internal clock. So turn off or limit your exposure to devices for several hours before you bed so that they don't affect your internal clock. The next session is the evaluation session. This is the absolute bread and butter of Toastmasters. This is the session where the prepared speakers and table topic speakers will get instant feedback as to how they have performed, what exactly has gone right, and where exactly they can improve. So over to you, General Evaluator Sharath.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karthika. Welcome back everyone to the general evaluation session. So it's time for me to introduce the speech evaluators of today. First, to evaluate Toastmaster Lakshminarayan's speech, we have a veteran Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati is a retired techno-functional manager. He is a speaker, author, and a poet. And he was a past humorous speech contest winner at area level in CTM. Without much ado, please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sarath. While listening to the speech given by our President, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana, I was feeling that I was sitting in a management committee meeting, listening to the speech given by a PMI certified PMP. The PowerPoint presentation given by him with a lot of bullet points like purpose, key deliverables, milestone meetings, contingency plan. These are all the things which make me to think that I am really sitting in a management committee meeting listening to that PMP. On the contingency plan, he was able to bring the quality plan and the risk plan. Definitely in our speechcraft courses, we encounter a lot of risks. So he was able to bring those risk management and quality management as well into the contingency plan to encounter and to resolve those somniferous stages in the project's implementation. That was very well done, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Coming to this project objectives, the beginning, body, end, that was superbly done. He started with the mission of our Toastmasters Club and he was very much able to connect it to that speechcraft course. That was a very great beginning for this project. And then the body, I could analyze the body using these 3 W's, what, why, and how. 2 W's and 1 how, H. What is the speechcraft course? He very well explained the objectives of the speechcraft course for this ACL Digital Limited company. And then coming to the why part, he was able to analyze the problems faced by the resources in that company, the lack of communication skills, etc. And then coming to the how part, the management committee, the guidance committee, all those things is incorporating into this plan. All these things were very much well defined and well articulated. They too using that PowerPoint presentation. Because PowerPoint presentation is the way to bring lot of points. If we have to put it into the minds of the people, we have to put it in PowerPoint presentation. Then only we can leisurely see and get absorbed into those points and get it into our mind. So he was able to do that using that presentation. That was a very good strategy in a project plan. And then coming to recommendations, actually we have seen so many speechcraft courses in our Toastmaster Club, Chennai Toastmasters Club. So the lessons learned in these speechcraft courses, generally in a project plan, before presenting the project plan, people used to discuss about all these lessons learned from the previous projects and incorporate that as a preamble to that project plan. So I was expecting that there is an ample opportunity for our Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana to get the lessons learned from all the speechcraft courses conducted by our Chennai Toastmasters Club earlier. And what are all the risks they have practically faced? Theoretically, we can say there are so many risks, resource risks, time risks, cost risks, but the actual risks which they have faced during the implementation of those speechcraft courses. These points, had he gathered and had he brought it in the project plan and explained to us, that would have been very much helpful for us, for Toastmasters like me also, to learn about how to resolve all these type of issues when we encounter. So that is the only recommendation which I have. Otherwise, it was a very great speech. He was able to fulfill the project objective very much. He satisfied all the project objectives of explaining the plan, vision, etc. And I am very eagerly waiting for him to give his second speech, explaining the execution of this project. Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sarath.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharti, for the detailed evaluation. Surely it will be helpful for the speaker. And next, I would like to call Toastmaster Nanda to evaluate Toastmaster Srikanth Kutikrishnan's speech. Toastmaster Nanda is a tech lead at Cisco Systems. He has conducted many workshops at Cisco and many other colleges. He is a passionate Toastmaster for the past 4 years, and he was the past secretary of our CTM, and he has been a past division level humorous speech contestant. Please join me in welcoming our evaluator number 2, Toastmaster Nanda.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sharath. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Without my mind wandering into the past or future, I would use all my intellect to stay in the present to give evaluation for Toastmaster Srikanth's beautiful speech. So I will divide my evaluation into 2 parts. The first part is about content and delivery. The second part is about meeting the project objectives, which is about inspiring me. Coming to the content and delivery, it was a beautifully crafted speech with a clear call to action to me that I need to develop my intellect. Even though I have a lot of intelligence, it is of no use. So develop my intellect by practicing little bit of staying in a quiet place 10 minutes every day. So it was beautiful content. And about delivery, it was a clear, consistent speech with good body language and nice positive gestures, but maybe a little bit of voice modulation can be added to enhance the overall feel, especially in the segments where we had a discussion between Swami, the scientist, and his wife. Those segments, bit of moderation would have enhanced it even more. Now coming to meeting the project objectives. Of course, I learned a lot about mind, like how we should want to do the past or future, stay in the present, develop a strong intellect. But that it inspired me to action. Am I going to do first thing tomorrow morning, sit in a quiet place and do 10 minutes of contemplation? Probably not. The question is why. The first thing, had Srikanth shared some outcome from developing the intellect, it would have been be a inspiring thing. Especially what would happen if I had developed my intellect? What would be the outcome of that? The second point is about he could have probably shared his whole personal journey of developing the intellect, how he struggled and how he overcome and how he was then and how he was now. The third thing is about how some thoughts were repeated again and again, especially like you need to develop your intellect, you need to develop your, you develop the constant practice, everything. But instead of repeating the thoughts again, which was a bit of tiring to me, he could have maybe shared some experiences, examples, or real life people, which could have inspired me. Overall, to summarize, it was a beautifully crafted speech with lots of great content, clear call to action that we need to develop intellect, even though we have a lot of intelligence, but with a little bit of voice modulation, especially in the delivery of the Swami segment, and with some strategies to actually inspire me powerfully, like sharing more personal stories, more personal examples, and also about sharing the actual outcome of doing this exercise would be even more a great speech. Over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Srikanth.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nanda, for the useful evaluation. And now I'd like to call timer to read out the detailed report. Toastmaster Ramani.
Good evening to everyone. I will share my screen. Toastmaster Payani sir, SCAA calls time taken 1.1 minute 44 seconds. So Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayan sir, RCA Presiding Officer, time taken 4 minutes 10 seconds. Toastmaster Karthika, Toastmaster of the Day, introduction 2 minutes 12 seconds. Toastmaster Sharath sir, General Evaluated introduction 30 seconds. Toastmaster Ramani, timer introduction 20 seconds. Toastmaster Ashwini, counter introduction 26 seconds. Toastmaster Vignesh, grammarian, word of the day 2 minutes 30 seconds. Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati sir, evaluated intro time taken 56 seconds. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayanan sir, speaker 1, 8 minutes 5 seconds. Toastmaster Nanda sir, evaluated introduction 20 seconds. Toastmaster Srikanth Kurikrishnan sir, speaker 2, 8 minutes 20 seconds. Toastmaster Rishi, Courtmaster, time taken 1 minute 20 seconds. Toastmaster Naveen, as the idiom master, time taken 1 minute 2 seconds. Toastmaster Aarti Mangalam Jairaj ma'am, educational session, time taken 36 minutes 25 seconds. Toastmaster Abhilash, table topic session, overall time taken 13 minutes 40 seconds. Toastmaster Anirudh, time taken 1 minute. Toastmaster Dinesh sir, time taken 65 seconds. Toastmaster Neerajan ma'am, time taken 1 minute. Toastmaster Prabhakaran sir, time taken 1 minute. Toastmaster Renuga ma'am, time taken 56 seconds. Toastmaster Aarti Mangalam Jairaj ma'am, time taken 1 minute 45 seconds. Toastmaster Sindhu ma'am, time taken 1 minute 12 seconds. Guest refuse, time taken 54 seconds. Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati sir, speaker 1 evaluation, time taken 4 minutes 25 seconds. Toastmaster Nanda sir, speaker 2 evaluation, time taken 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ramani, for the detailed report. Now, I would like to call Toastmaster Ashwini for giving our counter report. Toastmaster Ashwini, over to you.
Ashwini, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
So thank you, Toastmaster and Gender Evaluator Toastmaster Sharat. So here is my report. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana had 1 hour and 2 so and 2 pauses. Toastmaster Kartika had 2 pauses and 1 hour. Toastmaster Sharat had 1 hour. Toastmaster Ramani had 3 plus hour annums. Toastmaster Vignesh, grammarian, had 1 hour. Toastmaster Rishi, the Toastmaster, was flawless. And Toastmaster Nami, idiom master, was flawless. Prepared speakers, Toastmaster Srikanth and was flawless. In table topics, Toastmaster Anirudh had 1 hour. And Toastmaster Neena John had 1 hour. Toastmaster Dinesh was flawless. Toastmaster Renuka had 3 hours. Toastmaster Aarti had 1 hour. Toastmaster Sindhu had 2 hours. Guest speaker had 2 hours. And Toastmaster Abhilash had 1 hour. And for the evaluators, Toastmaster Nagendra Bharati had 1 hour and so. And Toastmaster Nanda had 1 pause. Yeah, thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Sharat.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ashwini. Now, I would like to call Toastmaster Vignesh, the grammarian of the day, to tell the grammarian.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharat. Are you able to see my screen with showing the sheet?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So today, first I would like to thank and congratulate for using the word of the day, Toastmaster Neena Jan and Nagendra Bharati sir. And also one more Division C Director Dinesh Balaji used, but not in speech, he used in a chat box. So I highlighted in some light color. So thanks for that using. So regarding the report, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Kartika used bread and butter was a good usage. It means main source of something. And Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana as a presiding officer and speaker 1 used some of the good usages, kind of esteemed guest, which means respected guest, and condensed version, which means compressed contingency event, which means future event. And Toastmaster Srikanth as a speaker 2, he used many quotes and good things which I knew here. So which is a mind is a thinking about past and future. Child never thinks about past or future. Chronic, which means persisting for a long time. Intelligence, knowledge gained from the external agency or school. But intellect is the ability to questioning or thinking or reasoning. So this is the new to me. And Toastmaster Rishi as a court master used to do one thing every day that scares you by Eleanor Roosevelt. And Toastmaster Naveen as a idiom master, he introduced a lot of idioms today. Sick as a dog, which means extremely ill. New lease on life, which means become successful or popular. Pain in the neck, which means annoying or troublesome. Recharge his batteries, which means regains one energy. As fresh as a daisy, which means healthy and full of energy. Kicked the habit, stop something that is harmful habit. And DTM Aarti, as an educational session, she used a lot of idioms and new words. Part and parcel, which means essential part of, and butterflies in the stomach, which means nervous. Corroborate, give support to theory or sentence. Under the sun, on earth, in existence. First question syndrome, which is good one. And bleak, which means charmless. And the Toastmaster Abhilash, though he used not the word of the day, but he used many, the somnus, which is the root word of the word of the day, he used it. So thanks for that. And the words specifically I noted down is face off, which means game or fight. Parasomnia, doing unnatural thing during sleep. Dysomnia, finding hard to get out of bed. Sleep over, sleep in outside than one's own home. And then Mahendra Bharati used a preamble, which means an introduction or preface. And also good usages. Today I don't find many things, but in some sentences, repeatedly and is used. And is to use for connecting two ideas or the things are the end of the multiple things. So if you say for 1, 2, and 3, so kind of multiple things you need to say and in one time for one sentence, that should be connecting the two sentences. Not we can use for multiple ands in a single sentence. And take the dog, take. So it should be user. It need to be used like a took. That's all about my report. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sharath.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vignesh, for beautifully explaining the report. Thank you so much. Now it's time for me to hear my report of others' evaluation. Before giving others' evaluation, it's time for me to evaluate myself first. G should join the meeting on time, but today G joined little late due to unavoidable circumstances. And G should call the role players and brief the role players before the meeting, but today it was missing. G should note down. And G should turn on the video throughout. Today that was also missing. He should note down. If you have any other points for G, you can share after the meeting. Let's move on to the meeting evaluation. With respect to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Karthika, I observed you are very calm and composed. I had a smiling face throughout the meeting. It was very beautiful. And you had a theme throughout the meeting. You have sprinkled the theme throughout the meeting. And initially I wrote 2 points. You forgot QIG. Then I striked it and I wrote in the commendation part because you corrected it instantaneously. We all make mistakes, but most of us, we don't accept, but you accepted and you also corrected in the same meeting. Kudos to that. And you done an awesome job in conducting the TMOD role. And regarding TT Master, Toastmaster Abhilash, I like the way you gave the topic to Neena ma'am and other DTM. It was a very innovative way, like connecting the word, connecting the theme of the day. The first time I'm experiencing that. Thank you so much for that. And you called all the non-role players. Usually we have role players coming into, but today you ensured all the non-role players get a chance. Just one recommendation that I can give is maybe we can ask volunteers, anyone willing to volunteer, so that I understand people like me will only come up when you call the name, but there are some other people who might be waiting for an opportunity. So for them, it may help. And with respect to Court Master, Idiom Master, Rishi and Naveen, both done excellent job. One recommendation I may give is we may project the idiom if needed. We may project it on the screen so that it will register in the mind of audience. And apart from that, we had an excellent and productive educational session by DTM Aarti ma'am. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Naveen, for arranging us this excellent session. And we had a beautiful evaluation by both the evaluators, Toastmaster Nagendra Bhardi and Toastmaster Nanda. Very detailed, analytical, and useful to all the speakers today spoke. Also, all our tag role players performed a job very well. Apart from that, just 2 points I have in general. Speakers who are speaking on the camera, make sure that we have a face, beautiful face on the camera, and we may avoid calling sir, ma'am, DTM Nina, ma'am. We can call DTM Nina while reading out the role players list. So only these things I observe. Apart from that, it was a beautiful, productive, and enjoyable meeting, I hope, for everyone. Thank you so much. Over to you, TMOD Toastmaster Karthik.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharat. While the polling session is going on, it's now time for me to give control over to the presiding officer. Over to you, Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana. Toastmaster Lakshmi Narayana.
Thank you, Toastmaster Today, Toastmaster Karthika. I think the poll is going on. Navin, have you lost it? So while we are making votes for the best speaker and best PhD, let me thank each and every one of you. To begin with, our Sri Director, who gave an excellent session today. Thanks very much. She has left already. And then the Division Director is still there.
Can't hear you. A little louder, please.
Am I audible now? Okay. So I want to thank our distinguished Toastmaster, Aarti Jayarajman, our District Director, for giving a wonderful session today. And she has just left the meeting for the meeting. And thank you, ma'am. And I want to thank our Division C Director, Dinesh Palaji, once again for sticking on to this meeting right from the beginning. And he's still with us. Thank you so much. And I also enjoyed your table topic session. I know Abhilash puts us in such tough spot and you were able to manage that. Thank you so much. And I missed to mention our DTM founding member, our DTM Meena Chan, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am, and thanks for being part of this meeting. And I know you've been engaging the session along with these other DTMs as well. Thank you so much. And it was a wonderful session overall. We had an excellent session. We have 2 speeches and we had excellent table topic session handled well by Abhilash, and then followed by the evaluation session as well. Overall, this meeting went on well. And thanks, Sarath, for making confession about yourself and asking us to give your feedback separately. Yes, we'll definitely call you and talk to you about that later with time. And thank you all. And I think this was again as the poll is going on. Let me take feedback from the guests. To begin with, let me get the feedback from our Division C Director, DTM Dinesh. DTM Dinesh, please give us your valuable feedback and evaluations. What do you think about this meeting and where we can improve?
Thank you so much, Lakshmi Narayana. I don't know if what I speak is sound to the ears of people around, but there's a church bell going around here exactly at 6 that indicates something to do with the GE as well, probably. All right. I thoroughly enjoyed being part of the meeting. I posted some of my things in the chat already. Given the word of the day and the timing of what it happens, probably this was not one meeting that will put anyone to sleep for sure. I think even the sleepy topics were very active, I would say. So that nobody is left with a free mind to really relax here. And I learned a lot of new things today. One of them being the speechcraft, which I have never done so far. So it was good to know through the session that I attended. And I already see that CTM is a pro in doing speechcrafts. Have been doing it for years together. When you can have someone talk about experiences at a speechcraft level, definitely. This year, as I started with my election pitch, I should say, to be very honest, we talked about being catalyst for change. What I mean by that is very simple. Each of us can make a difference to most of us. If each of us can do that by collaboration, if we communicate clearly and we stand along together, usually people say, we will take it to higher heights. We will take this time division C to spectacular heights. Over to you, Lakshmi Narayana.
And thank you, DTM Dinesh Balaji. Thank you very much for that. We hope to see you again. Maybe when we have a hybrid meeting, we can have a direct physical visit there, so we can get to know each other. And next, let me call upon our visiting guest Toastmaster Sindhu. Toastmaster Sindhu, please can you provide your
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmi. I was actually typing in the chat box. So I purposefully joined this meeting to learn how the meeting is organized, because I have heard a lot about CTC Club. So just wanted to learn and incorporate a few of them and the disciplines that this team follows in my team as well. Because as I said, I'm out of Toastmasters for about 4 years and restarting my journey. So it was really, really good. Like I felt it's 10 steps above what I was seeing last couple of weeks. So we will slowly step up. So thank you so much.
And thank you for those very kind words. Yeah, we owe it all from all the past senior members. It didn't happen just one day. It's been there for more than 18 years. It's an adult Toastmasters club. I think the founding member is still there. That's the best example you can see. The founding member still is part of this meeting. She's encouraging us and guiding us a lot. And we had all the senior Toastmasters as well who continue the legacy. So I'm just part of it. We are all just learning out of it and continuing. So we welcome you again. You can
Sure.
attend this meeting anytime, even if it's a hybrid meeting. We can learn together a lot.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. And also, I would also request someone of you to join our club meeting so we can extend and learn from you as well, from your suggestions and feedback.
Yeah, sure. We'll be glad to attend this as well. Provided some weekends or
unfortunately on a Friday.
Yeah, let's try. Even if we have to go to office, we can try.
Yeah.
We can ask members as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Now let me ask Prabhakaran. Prabhakaran, are you there? Please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving the opportunity. I got the invitation through our 120 education. So through that I got it. So it was very structuredly conducted the meeting. I could able to learn a lot of things from the timer, a lot of things from the grammarian and the accountants who make the Excel sheet very precisely, covering each and every members who participated in the meeting. So when I saw the flyer that our district director is giving the educational speech, it was curious to me. Then I have joined this meeting. It was very good learning for me. I can use in my club. So I request volunteer. I'm looking for some mentors for my team members. If any volunteers, I have posted my mobile number. You could please help us to grow along with your team members in the Toastmaster journey. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Prabhakaran. Just curious, may I know which club you are from?
I am from area D2, District 120, Rane Toastmaster Club. It's a corporate club.
Okay. Thank you, Rane. Thank you so much, Prabhakaran. And in the interest of time, let me invite one more guest to ask this. Guest Rufus, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, so what is your feedback and opinion about this meeting?
I'm really amazed, sir. Like, this is my first meeting. I came here with one of my friends told me that go and attend this. So I joined this meeting, and this is more than what I was expecting. And you guys are so systematic, and it's really nice. And like the way people are conducting, and the time was calculated, and reports were given. All these were like giving me like a good feeling and good interest in this meeting. So I may come back again and join this and probably become a member. So overall, I really like it. It is so good. I feel I should thank you for, thank you and the team for doing this wonderful thing, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You can reach out to our Toastmaster Sarath. He is a VP membership. He can guide you if you want to become.
Yeah, I will use it.
So thank you so much. And now it's time to announce the results. Let me begin with our Code Master, Idiom Master role. And today's the best between the Code Master, Idiom Master is our Idiom Master, Toastmaster Naveen Raj. Congratulations, Naveen Raj. And the TT speakers, the best speaker today is none other than our district director, VTM Pati Magan. She's not here. We'll just send out appreciation to her. And the best role player between the Toastmaster of the day, Table Topic Master, and the General Evaluator. And today the best role player is our TT Master, Toastmaster Abhilash. Congratulations. And the best evaluator today is our Toastmaster Nanda. Congratulations, sir. And the best speaker, thank you everyone for making me as a best speaker. Thank you so much. And with that, we are coming to the end of this meeting. Before I adjourn, I just want to know we are going to have a business meeting. It will be a good business meeting for 5 to 10 minutes, followed by that. So it's meant only for the members and guests. Thank you so much for attending this meeting. I formally adjourn this meeting for next week the same time. Thank you.